This is the Board of Adjustments. We're going to be waiting for about 10 minutes to have quorum. It is now 6 o'clock. We will wait until 6:10.
Good evening, the Planning and Zoning,
Board of Adjustments.
no, sorry. The Board of Adjustments meeting has called to order 6:03 PM. Apologies for the delay.
Good afternoon, all.
You're good. We have quorum.
I will be starting with item number 2, establishment of quorum. Marion Cruz,
Present.
Alberto Lagunas. Jesus Ruiz.
Here.
David Oropesa.
Here.
Victor Espinosa.
Present.
We have quorum with 5 members present. Moving on to item number 3, excuse absence commission members.
Are we all present? Or is there someone missing?
No.
I don't think someone's missing. Or there's?
No, you're
No, right?
correct.
We
Everyone
have
is
perfect
present.
attendance for the first time in how long?
Yay. Good job, us. Motion to, I guess, delete.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion made by Marion Cruz to delete item, second by Jesus Ruiz. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Moving on to item number 4, reading of the Board of Adjustment statement. Ms. Cruz,
Yes.
could you please read the statement?
Yes, thank you. The Zoning Board of Adjustment of the City of Socorro is now in session. This board is established under Article 211.008 of the Texas Local Government Code in Chapter 2, Division 5 of the Code. In appropriate cases and subject to appropriate conditions and safeguards, this board is empowered to make special exceptions or grant variances to the terms of the zoning ordinance that are consistent with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance and in accordance with any applicable rules contained in the ordinance, and to hear appeals that allege an error on an order, requirement, decision, or determination made by an administrative official in the enforcement of the code. Your application or appeal will be decided only after you have had the opportunity to present evidence before the board for its consideration. Other parties interested in your case may also be heard at this time. No consultation among the board members have been held in advance regarding your case. This board does not act in an arbitrary manner. Excuse me. You may be sure full consideration will be given to your case, and following this hearing, you will be promptly notified of the board's decision.
Thank you, Ms. Cruz. Moving on to item number 5, swearing of all people giving testimony. Ms. Cruz, could you please read the statement?
Yes, anyone who is going to be speaking today on today's items, if you can please stand and raise your right hand. Si alguna persona va a estar hablando sobre algún tema que están programado para hoy, si puede levantarse o ponerse de pie y alzar la mano derecha. ¿En inglés o en español? Ok, entonces I'm going to do Spanish. ¿Jura decir la verdad y nada más que la verdad? Gracias. Que se pueden sentar.
Thank you, Ms.
Anyone online, I'm sorry? No.
No. Thank you, Ms. Cruz. Moving on to item number 6, consider and take action on the approval of meeting minutes of January 23rd, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Jesus Ruiz to approve, second by Marion Cruz. All those in favor of the motion?
I'm sorry. Just real quick, unless I'm reading it correctly, it says from October 24th, 2024 on the agenda.
Oh yeah, didn't we have a meeting in January?
So the agenda item says October 24th, 2024, but the meetings are for January. So can we still take action on it, Marijuana? Because it's for the wrong date on the agenda.
It's for January and October, since it wasn't on
Like come down.
We can always
We should
postpone.
postpone it.
Yeah, we should postpone
Table it?
till next
Okay.
time. Yeah.
So I'll rescind my motion, and then I'll make a motion to table it for the next meeting.
Second.
I have a motion made by Jesus Ruiz to table item number 6, second by Marion Cruz. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried.
What day is it?
Since 2020, that's how I feel.
Moving on to item number 7, consider and take action on the variance request for the, from the Municipal Code Section 46-238, area requirements to allow a reduced front yard setback of 21 feet instead of the 25 feet setback requirement, and to allow a reduced rear yard setback of 23 feet, 11 inches instead of the 25 feet setback requirement at 777 Sawyer Drive, Socorro, Texas, to allow for a replacement of a mobile home. Mr. Botello?
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Jose Botello, planner with the City of Socorro. Item number 7 on the agenda is the variance request at 777 Soya Drive. So this variance request is from the Municipal Code Section 46-238 under Area Requirements, subsection 2, which is to allow a reduced front yard setback of 21 feet instead of the 25-foot front setback requirement, as well as a reduced rear yard setback of 23 feet 11 inches instead of the 25-foot setback requirement. Once again, at 777 Soya Drive, and this is to allow for the replacement of a mobile home. And so, some general information on this case. The property is zoned R1, which is single-family residential. The lot size is 8,317 square feet. The legal description is Lot 4, Block 4 of the Country Green subdivision. For the summary, the applicant is requesting a variance to allow the encroachment of the front and rear setbacks. For some background, a notice of violation was issued by code enforcement on January 10th, 2025 for the placement of a mobile home without a permit. The property owner applied for a mobile home placement permit on the 28th of January. And upon inspection of the property, the building inspector failed the permit due to the encroachment of the structure on both the front and the rear setbacks. So the issue is that the specific section under 46-238 area requirements subsection 2 outlines the area requirements for properties that are zoned R1, which are the setback requirements. And staff recommends approval of the variance request from the municipal code section 46-238 area requirements subsection 2 to allow a reduced front yard setback of 21 feet instead of the 25-foot front setback requirement, and to allow a reduced rear yard setback of 23 feet 11 inches instead of the 25-foot rear setback requirement at 777 Soya Drive, to allow the replacement of a mobile home, as literal enforcement of the code would create a hardship for the applicant, and the request meets the spirit of the code, which is stated on the application. And on the next slide, you'll see the application that was submitted to our department, along with the notary stamp that's required. The following map, you'll see on the zoning map, the property is outlined in the thick red line. The yellow denotes the R1 zoning designation for the property. In the following slide, you'll see an aerial image. The property contained in the yellow line. These are some pictures that were taken from Soya Drive of the property and the mobile home encroaching the front, and you can't see the rear setback, but it's a little bit noticeable from the front. And then this is the site plan that was submitted, showing the 21-foot front setback encroachment, as well as the encroachment from the rear. And so once again, this variance request is from the municipal code section 46-238 under area requirements subsection 2 to allow a reduced front yard setback of 21 feet instead of the 25-foot front setback requirement, and to allow a reduced rear yard setback of 23-foot 11 instead of the 25-foot setback requirement at 777 Sawyer Drive, Socorro, Texas, to allow for the replacement of a mobile home. And at this time, staff can answer any questions. We also have the applicant, Ms. Lopez, present to answer any questions as well.
I have a few questions. The images, the pictures that were taken, is that the new mobile home, or is that the one they're trying to replace?
That's the one replacing a prior mobile home.
So that's the one they're hoping to keep?
Yes, ma'am, correct.
Okay. And a second question, the aerial image, compared to the zoning map makes it look like Mesa Drain Road is really large, but then when you look at the aerial image, it looks like there's a basketball court.
So that section of the Mesa Drain was covered over, and that's a park that you're looking at. So
Okay, so,
directly
It's-
behind them, there is a park.
and it's zoned as a park, or it should be zoned as a park?
No, it's the Mesa Drain. The city has a lease on the property,
Okay,
and it still belongs to the Water Improvement District.
oh,
It
okay.
functions as a park,
But it's not a
Uh,
park.
most recent.
Okay, if you have more information to share.
Yeah, it's right behind it. It's been there for a long time.
If you go back to the aerial, you can, yeah.
Yeah, the
So-
light green on the zoning map shows the area designated as a park,
Okay.
the zoning for it.
And so then my next question is, I'm assuming that it was placed wherever the connections were. Is that right? I mean, we're asking for the 23 in the back and the 21 because they probably placed it exactly where the connections were already there, and so, because my thought process is, why not, get 23 in the front where it's actually, where you're in front of the road rather than the back, which is just a park, and probably nothing's ever gonna get built there, so it'd be less of an issue, and I'm thinking, and if you have something to, share. Oh,
Could-
come
could
to
you
the
come
mic,
to the-
please, and you could say your name, please.
Yes, Cynthia Lopez. So the issue when we moved the house there to begin with, when we purchased the lot, the actual property, we weren't fully informed of sizes, and so when we came to ask, hey, we want to replace this home, this mobile home that's already there. We were told, yeah, it just has to be this year and above. We weren't made aware of the permit, the sizes, any of that. So we placed a mobile home where there was already previously a mobile home, so the drainage and the gas and everything would align to where the other one was, with, you know, not having, because the light pole is right in the back, without having to like actually hit it or get, you know, too close to it that, you know, it could cause a fire. So we placed it where there used to be a mobile home. Like you could see, if you go to the property, you could see the square that's like very straight versus the rest of it where it's kind of unleveled, where there used to be a mobile home there.
Okay. So it wasn't, because of course moving it would have cost, moving the piping and all of that, so that wasn't done.
Mm-hmm.
You just put it exactly where
Right where that one
it
was.
is aligned. Okay. Well, that was my other question. And then I guess for, was there any neighbors that reached out to was there a letter sent out to them about this item, or?
No, so this process typically doesn't require notifications to constituents that are within a certain radius of the
Mhm.
property, so no, we didn't receive
Okay.
any correspondence.
Okay. And so then my last question would be, what are the setbacks the same for R1 as they are for R2? The 25?
For the most part, yes, with the exception that the front and the rear on R2 is reduced to 20 feet instead of 25. R1 requires 25, R2 require 20-foot.
Okay, so the couple of property lots down, it's like 2 lots down that are orange, or 2, they only have the 20 setback, the 20-foot setbacks.
Yes, ma'am, correct.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
Not necessarily a question, but just on like the application itself, I noticed that like it asked the question, does this meet the spirit of the code? And the applicant stated, which I agree, I'm not sure what that means. So is that something that really has to be on the application? Just, you know, a side note from this, because like I agree with them, they said not sure what the spirit of the code is. And if we're asking the public, like, does this request meet the spirit of the code, it's kind of like a,
Or maybe are they provided a copy of the code so that they can answer that question?
When we met with them, we explained what the problem was for the failure on the inspection, right? Which is going back to the municipal code section 46-238, subsection 2, where we do outline the setback requirements. So we go over that, and my interpretation of the spirit of the code is, well, in this case, my understanding of setbacks are enforced due to safety concerns, so that in case of an emergency, fire personnel or an ambulance can access the property if it needs to go towards the back of the property. So you're not supposed to have any sort of structure obstructing those setback requirements. And so if you're meeting the spirit of the code, you're kind of giving us a bit of separation, right? So in this case, the separation is very minor towards the back, 23 feet and 11 inches. So they're mostly there, right? They're almost compliant with the 25 feet. Had they been requesting a separation of 5 feet, right? You're kind of placing, if there was a neighbor behind and the home catches fire, that 5-foot separation is placing your neighbor behind at risk, which wouldn't be meeting the spirit of the code. Does that make sense? So it's difficult to explain, but you know, you're giving us something to work with. It's not too irrational to allow something, a 4-foot encroachment, right, versus having like a structure encroach 20 feet, which is a little bit substantial. That's my best response.
Marwan would like to add.
Yeah, if I could add, so the spirit of the code, it kind of has to be in the application process. It's kind of a term of art, but it comes from, It's the standards actually that the Board of Adjustments should look at on every applicant. It comes out of the municipal code, not out of the Texas local government code. But I do understand that it's very vague to the general public on what do you mean by spirit of the code, but it's like a term of art, and like if you're an attorney, for instance, if you ever go to court and they say, well, reasonable doubt, and you're like, well, I want a definition, well, the court really won't give you a definition beyond that. They say, well, whatever it means to you. So it is kind of a difficult term, but yeah, it's in there for a reason, and it's the other factors in there like hardship. Again, it just comes out of those factors. So if you look at even other cities' applications, they have kind of the same words. But yeah, I would agree that it's difficult for the general public sometimes to understand what we're trying to get at.
I do think it would be helpful if we could give them a copy of the code, whatever code it is that we're referencing, depending on, you know, what the citation they got. Because, I mean, codes are not easy to read for really anyone, but at least they have a reference of what they can look at and then refer to when they're answering that question. I mean, just as a future side note. I have one last question. The side setbacks are not an issue at all, right? So with the neighbors and stuff, that's not an issue, it looks like. And then, oh, my last question was, if we approve this, does this stay on the property in perpetuity? Or is this only for this mobile home? And do we need to make that clear when we approve it? I ask that because if, for whatever reason in the future, maybe they decide to remove the mobile home and then build a home, I think we'd want to reconsider that exception at that point instead of them just kind of using this exception, right, and then moving forward. So does approving this, is it only for the mobile home? And do we need to make that clear if we were to approve?
Yeah, I think you can. If you want to be specific, you can say, you know, we're approving that, or making a motion to approve it for the mobile home or that was presented in the application. So
Okay,
it's just specific to this application, this one time on what was presented to you. Yeah, I think you can do that.
okay. Any other questions?
So
I'm
a
gonna make a
motion.
motion to approve
I second.
for this specific mobile home or this application, and then with the recommendations by staff.
I have a motion made by Marion Cruz to approve, second by David Oropesa, only to approve the mobile home application submitted and staff recommendations. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried.
Thank you.
¿Se aprobó, señor? Nada.
Thank you for coming. Moving on to item number 8, consider and take action on the election of officers for Board of Adjustments.
So quiet.
Well, I think we should take up the vice chair, no? So,
I think we need is it a chair, vice chair?
that's it.
That's it? Secretary?
We can
It's always
technically go into number 9 first, and then add all sorts of crazy positions, and then go back to 8.
Right.
And then
No,
could be like the Doge person.
Empieces. Empieces. Ay, ay, ay.
Okay, well, we did this last time, so I'll just continue, and if Mr. Lagunes is interested, then I recommend that he be voted for chair.
One of you should be the chairman right there, you know. I stay where I'm at.
Okay, so, all right. You want to continue being the vice chair?
No, I just want to be on the, well, one of you two is the chairman, the other one is the vice chair, because you do a pretty good job of it, you know? And my Spanish is not that good when we have to talk about, you know, translate it in Spanish and all that. I'm not that good.
Okay.
I second Mr. Laguna.
You don't want to be chair?
You
Okay.
guys are good.
No, I was gonna,
flip for
There
it.
you go back.
well, I was gonna say, since Ms. Cruz and I have already been chair in succeeding years, Mr. Oropesa could be the chair.
I think I've been serving the board for a while now, so I'm good where I'm at.
But you're just catching up. It may be years, but how many meetings? Now that we're good.
I've been to a lot of meetings, guys.
Just be chair,
Okay, I don't mind either way.
and then I'll be vice.
Okay.
And if we have to switch again, we'll switch.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. Motion to.
If I may, actually,
sure.
I actually was interested in the position of chair. I know I just got here, obviously, but I am also very confident in the current administration at City Hall to be able to educate me in what it is that I have and I am lacking since I have only just got here. And I am pretty eager to learn about it.
I strongly suggest that you stay on the board first for 2 or 3 years, and then that you apply for the chair or suggest that you go into the chair. I know that you say you bring a lot of confidence, but it's you need a lot more, experience in the construction field. I know we're not a lot up from the construction field, but we've been a lot here for a while, and I recommend you not get the chair yet.
Be in it for a while, and then
Yeah.
see if we can get voters in there. But right now, they're doing a pretty good job about it, because they've been chair and vice chair, so, and they're good at that.
Yeah, I don't mind either way. Like I said already, I appreciate the fact that you mentioned that for yourself and that, you would like to, you're here, you're interested. I don't have an issue. If you would like to be vice chair, the board will go ahead and vote. I would just like to make a quick comment. I think this is like your second meeting, right? I would just recommend that if, you are interested and if you are selected for the board, then I would like to see more of an active participation, because I think this is the first time that you've spoken in the 2 meetings. And if it's to request to be chair, that's perfectly fine. But I would just encourage you to participate more as we have the discussion. That's it.
Well, and I will say, I appreciate the enthusiasm,
Yeah.
for sure. I think it's important. I'm happy you're here. And so, I don't mind, I do, not to brag, but I know my Spanish is pretty good. And, I don't mind doing that from the side, if need be. Unfortunately, the 1 year that I've been chair, I've been out of town, I feel like a couple of meetings, and that hasn't been, I haven't felt great about that. I don't anticipate that happening moving forward, but, I guess I'll let someone else make a motion, because I'm happy to do it, I'm also happy to be on the site, so.
I think, like you said, you have been here for a while. I think you would be a great coach if I were to be vice chair, to be able to kind of piggyback off of you.
Whatever y'all want. I'm gonna stay quiet on this.
I make the motion for what do we have right now? Albert, you don't
Vice
want to do it
chair and
anymore? You
vice
don't
chair.
want to be
No.
vice chair?
Yeah, because my Spanish is not that good. When she left last time, she left me right here and said, "Oh my God." Hope it's not in Spanish, because I'm not good at that.
Yeah, just make it for chair and vice chair, whoever you want to
Oh.
nominate.
Chair, vice chair, motion.
I second it.
I have a motion made by David Oropesa to appoint Jesus Ruiz for chair, second by Albert Lagunas. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. I have a motion made by David Oropesa to appoint Miriam Cruz for vice chair, second by Albert Lagunas. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays?
I abstain.
Any abstain?
Yeah, me too, if I have to, as well. I was asking Marwan if it's 4 or 3.
Oh, you can vote for yourself, if you want to, it's fine.
Okay.
Did you abstain?
Yes.
Did we? So it doesn't pass.
No, it passes. He said it was 3.
No, it doesn't pass.
For his,
He's 4.
Oh, yes, for whatever, yes. Because I was worried with Merwin, I was like, Merwin, the 4 or the 3? Yes, yes.
Yes. Motion carried. Now,
Okay, so this is what I was talking about.
So take action.
okay, now, moving to the appointment of secretary.
And there's always an, yeah.
Do you approve of Judith Ruiz for secretary?
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Who won? You? Judith or?
Judith?
Judith? See? Yeah. Just kidding, we're going back.
Yes.
Motion to approve, or to appoint Judith as secretary.
Do I have a second?
Second. Third, fourth.
I have a motion made by Marion Cruz to appoint Judith Rodriguez as secretary, second by Albert Lagunas. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Moving on to item number 10, consider and take action on the bylaws of the Board of Adjustment Commission.
Number 9, right?
Moving on to item number 9.
So on this one, I just wanted a couple of things of clarification. So, Merwin, I know we kind of touched base and we changed it up a little bit last time, which is what has allowed us to like have more meetings and whatnot. So I just want to make sure, so for a motion to pass, it still has to be 4 members,
Yeah, that's
right?
correct, yes.
So if it's 4 of us here, we all have to say yes,
If it's only 4, then all 4 need to say yes.
right? And we can't change that?
No, so that
Right.
number also comes from the municipal ordinances and then the Texas local government. I believe that's the minimum. It used to be more, which is why the BOA didn't have meetings for a couple of years, because we couldn't fill up that many positions. So we did a minimum of 4, yeah.
Right,
And
okay.
at that time, we changed the bylaws as well, I think, and
Yeah.
updated to reflect that, probably about 2 years ago, I think.
Right.
You wanna finish up already?
No, thanks. And then my follow-up question was on F. I know that we read the statement and then we usually have the folks come up here and I mean, we already have it there in English. Would it be possible to translate that into Spanish and have it into the bylaws? That way we're not kind of like just,
Yeah, I've been meaning to translate. I told you all I haven't, sorry.
right? I mean,
Take it.
there's nothing that would prevent us from just having that in Spanish and reading it as need be instead of just kind of ad-libbing as we go.
You could do it. The problem is, and this is why all of Socorro's laws, ordinances, bylaws, everything is in English, everything. There's no Spanish in there. But we do it as a matter of courtesy for things
Right.
like some of the notices that go out, I think on like rezonings. But really, the legal requirement is, it just needs to be in English.
So are you trying to say that if we do it in Spanish, then we'd run into an issue because everything else is only in English?
That's right, because then somebody else will come back and point and say, wait a minute, I didn't understand something else. You guys aren't providing translations of other parts, of, for different commissions or whatever. And also the other problem is that if we ever go to court on something, that it's all still done in English in court. Even if they translate it, into Spanish for someone, all the legal documents, everything, they need to be enforceable in English. So yes, all the laws, everything technically. need
But I
to
guess
be-
it wouldn't be an issue if I read it in Spanish.
Yeah,
during the
that's
meeting.
not a problem, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just, for a whole year, been saying I was gonna do it,
Well,
sorry.
maybe we can like redo the script. I don't know if the script needs to be updated, the opening one that you do, or is it accurate? I think it should follow what it says,
Yeah, I think it's fine.
but I don't know when's the last time they did it, yeah.
And then I would like to recommend, I was just talking to Ms. Cruz right now, in the spirit of the code, right? In the spirit of the fact that you have a member who is willing to step up and wants to be part of the officers of the board, I would like to make a motion to add a second vice chair. And then at the next meeting, if we could make a election on that. And that way, if I'm not here, then we have an actual chair and a vice chair present at all meetings instead of having to sit back and say, well, who wants to be vice chair today, or whatever. Just make,
Yeah.
So
I
in
think that's
Article
possible.
3, officers.
yes.
I'd like to see that as well. I think that'd be helpful, especially because we do have more members. And, I mean, obviously, I think we all try to make it when we can, but things do come up, and it'd be nice to have that already set in place instead of running around thinking, okay, who's gonna say what or who's gonna do what.
Yeah, so I think that's possible, so if you want, you can make a motion to approve the bylaws with that amendment, or we can bring it back next time and you can look at it again and with the change, that's your call.
I mean,
Is
I would just say we can make the change now, right? Prove it with that change, and then
Okay.
And then my last question, like Miriam says, on that same article, I just want to make sure that we're not contradicting each other, because it says then that we may be removed from office by 2/3 majority vote, right? But then we're saying that we require 4.
Well, this is specific to removing.
Right, but I'm
Chair
saying like
votes.
that's not an issue, right? That technically if it's like 4 of us here, we want to remove somebody, 2/3 is not 4. Just want to make sure, because I saw that right now, and that's why I was,
I'm trying to do the math in my head now, I'm like, okay, 2/3 of 5.
well, of the members present, no, or whatever.
Cause yeah, this one, the way it reads, it says chair or vice chair may be removed from office by 2/3 majority vote of the entire board. So I think the entire board has to be there.
Would that be the board and the alternates,
No, just the
or just
board.
so then would we have to have 5?
Just the board, yeah, just the 5,
So we would have to have 5 members present to remove somebody?
yes.
So if we
Yeah.
only have 4, then we couldn't take that action.
No.
So then that person who is being removed could just be absent during that meeting.
Yes,
Ya cálmate, Jesús, ya.
it's funny, cause I think it may have happened like that, something
I mean,
happened
yeah,
like
I
that,
just wanna make
where
sure
we
that it
got
doesn't contradict
stuck.
the whole 4 unanimous members. Okay,
You know, usually, yeah, I was gonna say, usually city council also retains a right to remove board member, and they've done it
Yeah.
with various commissions, if you've seen it. And I don't remember if the Board of Justice specifically can't, I think they can still do it even if you didn't take a vote. Cause they have removed people in the, people, if somebody just didn't show up for 20 meetings in a row or
Yeah.
something, they did it. And then they could fill it any time too, so.
yeah, I just
Well,
wanted to make
I feel
sure.
like maybe we could amend it, instead of saying entire board, maybe of entire
Members present?
members present. So that way, yeah, like, potentially that person could just keep missing, and then we'd never be able to make that action. So then we would do the entire members present, then we could.
By city council for inaction, for not being here.
Yeah, that's right, and then it actually was still.
Oh, so instead of trying to make it different, then just make it simple majority like everything else.
Won't have enough
Yeah.
people.
Well, and I'm thinking it's different because it's not an action, I mean, it's an action by the board, but it's not an action for, the cases. It's more of like an internal case or situation that we'd be voting on. I guess that's why maybe it's a little different, but yeah, I guess we could just remove it and then,
There's another issue, I don't wanna interrupt you here, but Ms. Lorraine brought it up, it was kind of floating in my mind when you guys said it about the second vice chair. So think about this is, if the second vice chair is in charge at the meeting, right? That means the chair didn't show up and the vice chair didn't show up, so then how many people are at the meeting? That means
there
there's
should be,
3.
but there should be alternates.
There should
There
be also,
two
but
alternates.
But we don't have.
But we
all
won't
that.
even
Well, we
have
don't
a
have
meeting.
them, but I mean, we should
Yeah.
have them,
I'm all like,
and, and, I
So
mean,
that's
we
what I'm
should
saying, if
have
you get to
them.
the third, then 2 aren't here, which means you can't have a meeting, cause you
I
don't
was
have.
just trying to be nice, bro. Come on, work with me here.
No, I
But
think,
you're right, we are functioning with the idea that we have a full board, which we
Yes.
don't
Well-
right now.
which we don't, but I think it would be helpful to have that because in the case that we do have alternates in the future, then we would be able to have a meeting. It'd be someone, that's been in most of the meetings with 2 alternates that don't usually attend meetings, sitting in for us that weren't present. So I think having that in place safeguards a lot of things and allows for the meetings to continue without having to say, oh, the meeting's canceled because neither the chair or the vice chair are here. I think it just helps generally. And I think we should remind city council that we need to appoint 2 alternates. Why do you keep saying, oh, because you're
I'm
an
an
alternate?
alternate.
Oh, you are an alternate.
Yes. Yes,
Why
I
did
am,
they just
sorry.
appoint you? It's just silly.
Well, because
Am I an alternate? Am I an alternate?
Do you guys know your terms of when you got appointed, and then, do you ever get a list of,
No, they added that online. Oh, this one doesn't.
okay, okay. There was a list somewhere, I've seen it.
It's
Haven't
on,
seen it
it's
in
on
a
the
while.
website
Oh, is it?
now.
Okay, okay.
see, and the reason why
just-
I'm
The
saying,
online ones
the
have,
reason
I
why I'm
haven't
saying
asked
for,
it.
terms have expired.
yeah.
It might be, oh, are we expired? Do we need to get re-sworn in?
We've been, need to verify that, trying to verify that with the city clerk. And with
I
the
thought we
new
just-
election of the new city council members, they
Oh,
were
they might kick us
reminded,
out.
all reminded of the vacancies.
So we will fix it if it's a problem, that's
Yes.
what we're saying.
Or they might kick us out. They might get rid of us.
I was appointed by Gloria when she was mayor. Just kidding.
Oh, I was like, wait, who?
All right, so then I mean, my only recommendation would be that, is just to add the vice chair, if possible.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
can do that.
it doesn't mean that we're gonna be down to 3 members or whatever, it's just to have an extra position in order to have developmental opportunities within the board, since we've been pretty consistent over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's fine, we can do that, we can add those changes.
I will say though, the next sentence after the 2/3 majority that we were just talking about
Simple.
talks about vacancies. And it says that, oh, never mind, just kidding. I take it back. I reread it.
All right, so I make a motion to approve with the change that I mentioned of adding a second vice chair to the list of officers for the Board of Adjustments.
I second that.
And are you gonna remove the 2/3 majority for the board?
Yes, and if we can remove the 2/3 majority of the entire board and just reflect the members present.
And I second all of it, if unless Mr. wants to second all of that as well.
So, I have a motion made by Jesus Ruiz to approve bylaws of the Board of
Bless you.
Adjustment. Also adding a second vice chair and removing the 2/3 present council members?
No, the majority of the entire board in Article 3, Section A. Second to last sentence.
Okay, I will go ahead and read the motion one more time. I have a motion made by Jesus Ruiz to approve bylaws of the Board of Adjustments, to add a second vice chair, and to remove under Article 3, Section A, all Board of Adjustment members present, correct?
Mm-mm.
No, so it should just be the chair and vice chair may be removed from office by a 2/3 majority vote of the board members present.
Well, I think we should remove 2/3. I think it should just be majority vote of members present.
Okay. Okay, so it should just read, by a majority vote of the members present.
Okay.
Then right after this, it's a
I will
majority.
just read off that section. It's to add a second vice chair and to remove the chair and vice chair. I am so sorry, Commissioner.
It's okay, let's speak sentences. So, Article 3, Section A, to the first sentence, we would like to add, the officers of the board shall be chair, vice chair, and a second vice chair. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Line 8, maybe?
7, 8.
Yeah, I think it's line 8.
And then sentence 8, in that same section, we'll read, the chair and vice chair may be removed from office by a majority vote of members present.
Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time. To remove a section under Article 3, Section A, the officers of the board shall be a chair and a vice chair and a second vice chair. Also, to remove the chair and vice chair may be removed from office by 2/3 majority vote of the entire board,
By a majority vote, yeah,
by the majority vote
of the members present.
of the members present.
Could we just maybe make a motion and then I've written it out and then like if members wanna read it this way, this is what we
Yeah,
adopt?
whatever is the easiest, simplest.
Okay.
Did we already make a motion, or you were reading,
Yeah.
was there a motion in a second?
I mean, I think the motion and the second is already there. I think
It's
we just read it back, that's it. But I don't think
Okay.
I don't think the motion will change based on the,
Yeah. Maybe I can read it? Is that okay?
Yes, that would be
Okay.
okay.
So I'm gonna, can you withdraw your motion?
I withdraw my motion.
So, I would say we'd like to make a motion, I make a motion to, amend the rules and bylaws of the Board of Adjustment, Article 3, Officers, Section A. The first sentence will read, "The officers of the board shall be a chair, vice chair, and second vice chair." And sentence number 8 will read, "The chair and vice chair may be removed," well, I guess second vice chair. "The chair and vice chair and second vice chair may be removed from office by a majority vote of members present."
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Thank you so much, Ms. Cruz, for
welcome.
the assistance. Now moving on to item number 10.
Sorry, really quick, could we please add, this, to the next meeting to elect, the officer again, so we could elect the second vice chair at the next meeting?
It would just be the election of the vice chair, the second vice chair.
Second vice chair, please.
Okay, moving on to item number 10, consider and take action on the 2025 meeting calendar. Do I have a motion?
Let me look through my calendar real quick.
Motion to approve.
Bammy, March, the 27th? Okay. April 24, May 20, can we move the 22nd? Oh, I'm vice chair.
We have a second
I
vice,
can
we
be
will have a
absent.
second vice. See what a great idea that was?
Exactly.
Hey, quick question, we don't have one in November, right?
22nd, June.
That's correct.
26th,
And, or December?
Correct.
Okay.
August, September. We don't have one in November or December. Was that an issue this past year? We didn't
No.
have items kind of waiting for us?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
And if we do,
But
we
Ed,
can
if
call a
you want to
special
have a
meeting.
special meeting, because we have pending cases, we can.
Okay. Did you already get a second? Yeah, you did.
All those in, I have a motion made by Jesus Ruiz to approve, second by David Oropesa. All those in favor of the motion?
Excuse me, aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Consider and take action on the, moving on to item number 11, consider and take action on the adjournment of this meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion dies. Second, I'll second.
I have a motion made by Marion Cruz to adjourn, second by Jesus Ruiz. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. The meeting is adjourned at 6:50. Thank you all for coming.